The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Please say good morning. And I'm such a fan. I was thinking, driving into work this morning, I knew I was going to be speaking with Joe Kovacs. Joe, how long have we been friends? Man, forever.
Yeah, it goes back years, all the way, even before Shocked by the Bible. We were talking about Obama's birth certificate and all that during the campaigns and the hunt for the veracity of that. So it's got to be, I don't know, even before 2008-ish, 2009.
I think even before, I think when Barack Obama, when we first started asking the questions about Barack Obama's official life story and the birth certificate, you were one of the first guys, I think, that I actually met that was willing to join me out there on the limb and ask the questions who this guy is. Just as a quick overall, do a bio for yourself so people get a sense of who you are.
Okay, my name is Joe Kovacs. No relation to Ernie Kovacs, but it's spelled the same way. I am the executive news editor for WND.com, which is a very popular news site on the web. I'm also the author of a couple of best-selling books, one of which is Shocked by the Bible, and the second one is The Divine Secret. And I'm just a journalist, a news hound, a Christian, an American with a long-form birth certificate from the hospital. And so that's who I am.
If someone were to ask you, Joe, who it predicated on the inability of this country to know anything at all, truthfully, to see what's called, people call them bona fides, historians call these documents bona fides. Could you tell us from anything we have available to us who Barack Obama really, truly is?
That, if you go by the official storyline, you're going to say, well, he's currently the president, and he graduated from all these colleges, and he was born in Hawaii to certain parents. But when you get down to it, we don't have any documentation, legitimate documentation for sure, 100%, that he is who he claims to be. He has a Social Security number from the state of Connecticut when he and his parents never were in Connecticut living there. He's got a birth certificate which has been put online by Robert Gibbs and has been found by America's toughest sheriff, Joe Arpaio in Arizona, to have probable cause to be a computer-generated forgery. So we don't know his school records because he won't release them. The guy is just still a big question mark.
Now, the man, this is the piece you did, Robert Gibbs, who was the former U.S. press secretary, who claimed to be the one who put Obama's birth certificate online. And again, there's only been one person who was ever said they actually saw it. But now he ends up at all places, McDonald's. Tell that story.
Yes, Robert Gibbs, he was, as you mentioned, the U.S. press secretary for Barack Obama during his first term, and then he became an advisor during the re-election campaign in 2012 for Obama. He is now hawking burgers, working at a burger joint.
Yeah.
The big burger joint. It's McDonald's, and he was named last month as the Executive Vice President and Global Chief Communications Officer for McDonald's by their President and CEO, Steve Easterbrook, who says they're looking to make McDonald's a more progressive burger company.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they use that word progressive.
Agree.
But he says he calls him highly respected and talented. He brings experience and outside perspective to McDonald's as we build a more modern progressive burger company.
Certainly is. Progressive is a great choice of words, isn't it?
It is, because and the left uses that for many things, including progressive insurance.
Sure.
Have you ever seen those ads with Flo, the progressive insurance lady? Do some research into who really runs progressive, and you might get shocked if you don't know it already, but it has to do with the progressive left in America.
Oh, yeah, sure. No, progressive, they quit calling themselves liberals, and they started calling themselves progressive, but progressive is an old term that came out of the United Fronts of the 30s. They were called progressive peoples everywhere, included Soviets and, the American left, and they would call themselves progressives. And they have now become, and they stole the name because, as you know, originally Teddy Roosevelt They were the progressives. These were the people who busted the trusts and, and took on environment for the first time, created national parks. They were progressives. But that name has been stolen by the left, and now instead of saying liberal, they say progressive. And it's a game of semantics. I think you'd agree.
Oh, absolutely. But with Robert Gibbs, he's among the big progressives in America. You might have seen him, by the way, in the past year or two on Celebrity Jeopardy. I happen to be a fan of Jeopardy, and I was watching Celebrity Jeopardy, and Robert Gibbs was competing on there.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, Robert Gibbs is the guy who claims he put Obama's birth certificate on the Internet, and he just refuses to confirm or answer really any questions concerning whether it's the birth certificate or the letter that Obama supposedly wrote to his alleged birth hospital, the Kapiolani.
That's the good
the Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children in Honolulu. I mean, there is this letter that was supposedly sent there, signed by Barack Obama. We have a photo at WND.com of Barack Obama's signature on there, but when asked directly about it, he refuses to answer any question about that. He refuses to answer any question about why Obama has a Connecticut-based Social Security number, because everybody's Social Security number up until the past year or two is the first three numbers in there are based on the state in which you were residing when you applied for it.
That's right. And
mine is a Connecticut-based Social Security number. I grew up in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Was there for 10, 15 years of my life, so I can have a Connecticut Social Security number. But Obama has one, and there's no explanation for it.
Wait a minute. The one Bill O'Reilly said his father got it for him when his father went to. These people would lie when the truth would do. The interesting thing about the letter that Joe's talking about, Obama's press secretary in 2009, and he won't confirm, but this letter comes out from Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children in Honolulu, and Obama, it's his signature, and he claims it's his birthplace, but there's no record of that being his birthplace, so now no one will confirm whether or not they sent that letter out, although that letter is available. That's the kind of stuff that's just, you would think if this was a press corps that like the one that went after Nixon, rightfully so, they would have gotten this guy a long time ago. And I said, if that same press corps existed when it was Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky and other things, Juanita Broderick, Bill Clinton would have gone. But this is more about the national press as well as anything else, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if this were a Republican with all these shenanigans and questions about their documented history, they would not stop. It would be a daily drumbeat to frog march that person out of office. But with Obama, they don't even ask the question.
No.
Just on this birth hospital issue, before he ran for president, there were conflicting reports from Obama himself about which hospital he was born at. There was two in Honolulu, the Queens Medical Center and the Kapiolani. And I think finally he wrote this letter just to try to put the issue to rest, to go on the record as far as which one. He had to choose one. He couldn't be born at both. And so he wrote this letter, but no one's verified it.
And at the same time, the mainstream press, that became mother's milk, and they lapped it up. And then guys like yourself and others came out and said, no, there's no record of that, but the letter does exist. Interestingly enough, and I think we've talked about this before, there are two con men here in Denver. One of them is a guy named Jason Saltzman, who runs a media website that's critical of talk radio, and the other is a guy named Michael Hutner, who's a lawyer. They started Progress Now. They wrote a book entitled, every chance I get to tell the story, I tell it, Helping Barack Obama Change America. And they were in the New York Times, Denver Post, they got all kinds of ink, and they ran a contest called Who Had the Best Idea? And they said the first prize winner of this contest was a round-trip ticket for two to Hawaii on Dr. King's birthday, a trip to the birth hospital of Barack Obama, and a chance to work as a volunteer someplace in some NGO work. They never awarded the prize. It was a con. It was a scam. And they've never been prosecuted for it. Jason is a little wiener. He's out there somewhere. And, of course, Hutner's back in town. And they're launching attacks now on some Republicans. I don't care about launching attacks on Republicans. My point is they both got away with it. They've never been criticized for it other than this on this radio show. But they actually advertised a contest. And the winner got a round-trip ticket for two to Hawaii, a tour of the birth hospital of Barack Obama, and to work on a public works project or volunteer work on Dr. King's holiday. Joe, it might be a story you might want to look at, but they never awarded the prize. They've never been prosecuted for it. No one has ever said a word that they did it. The book was written up and their contest was written up in New York papers. They got national attention, and it was a scam. They never awarded. And then, so they're out there right now, and they're both, Huttner was very active in this last election. He brought a load of money in to Colorado to do damaging ads. Now that tells you who the national press is and who these people really are. But remember those names. Michael Huttner, his mother is this real estate magnate in Cherry Creek. His dad was this interesting doctor. And this other little creep. And he still runs his little website called Big Media. I think that's called Big Media. His name is Jason Saltzman. And they're out there. And they're living here in Denver, and they ran that con. And being in the radio business as long as I had, if I ran a radio contest that did not have a winner, I'd be prosecuted.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they probably didn't award the prize because they couldn't figure out which hospital he was really born at.
They didn't. I don't know. I mean, whatever they did, they did. And, they were so sure, and they knew they were going to do this. But regardless, if I said I'm giving away a new car, first day of August, and everybody enters the contest, and I don't give away the new car, I'm going to be prosecuted. It's called a con.
Yeah, it just boils down to if you have a Democrat next to your name, you're going to get a free pass from the national clowns who pretend to be journalists. Yeah. And if you have an R next to your name or anything else, you will be pursued by the clowns who pretend to be journalists.
They live in Denver. Mitch Morrissey, the DA, never prosecuted them. Nobody ever did anything about it, and they just sort of drifted away. But they're around. They're little operatives, and they show up at fundraisers and, I guess, drink the white wine and eat that drippy cheese and maybe drive BMWs. But they're out there, and they both got away with it. And anytime I get an opportunity to bring it up, I bring it up because you'll see them. They'll show up someplace. So long story short, now Robert Gibbs is the spokesperson for McDonald's after doing a great job for Barack Obama. It's not all that bad, is it?
No, I think one of the funniest comments somebody had about the story is, I thought McDonald's already had a clown for a spokesman.
But seriously, folks, have a happy 4th of July. Thank you, Joe, for everything that you've done for us over time, and we'll go get them again, pal. Thanks.
Thanks, Peter.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.